Hi there everybody, it has been a very long time since we last looked at Apxt, but you know what, we are back doing another update on Apxt, and we're going to be looking at some of the stocks which we haven't actually looked at for a while on this channel, all coming up very soon. But we're going to start off this one by looking at Apxt, obviously, how it has been moving both today, over the past few weeks, and over the past month or so. On top of that, we look at some of the latest news which you might want to know, and look at some of the fundamentals which I find most interesting. Again, if you do want to watch about the fundamentals, you can just type in Apxt N2S Finance, watch some of the older videos that we have done, because the fundamentals of this company haven't really changed at all, and of course we're just doing an update on the latest news and what has gone on regarding the SPAC and all that kind of stuff, and obviously the financials for the company as well. So we're going to start off looking at the stock share price and how it has been moving, but if you may enjoy this video guys, please do me a favour and smash that like button, also smash that subscribe button because you will be helping us out. On top of that, if you do want to come talk to us on our Discord, link to the Discord is down below, it's completely free to join and it would be appreciated if you could come down. So let's jump into this one, looking at how the stock has been moving in the past month or so. We're going to start off by looking at today's action. So far today, according to Yahoo Finance, we are down by about 3.46%. So again, you can see from about 9:36, so just after the open of the market, things really started to plummet. And again, this really has carried on up until this point here, I would say, around 119. We have obviously seen the share price pick itself up a bit. Now the day isn't over yet, things could change, so do remember that. This was filmed around 1840 in the United Kingdom, so again it will probably be uploaded about an hour from now, maybe a bit later than that, so please do bear that in mind. But if we're looking at how this one has been moving over the past 5 days, well, we have a mixed story. Ultimately, we are down in the past 5 days, but things were looking really promising on about, Friday of last week, where we can see the share price hit highs in the $12 range, which is fantastic. Unfortunately though, it wasn't to last, as Monday and Tuesday saw a consistent and consecutive sell-off for the share price, and we have basically come back down to this $11 range, even lower than where we started off last Wednesday. If we look at this one over the past month, the story is similar. We've seen the share price continuously fall from highs in the month on March 16th, which were about $13.64, and yeah, we've basically been down ever since, so things really not looking good. Over the past 6 months, we have a very interesting story to report on. We're mostly seeing more share price sell-off, as you can see, and over the past year or so, again, things really not looking too good for 2020 for the stock. Now, if we look back into 2021, but if we do look back into 2020, we had this initial hype for the merger, of course, as we did have with SPACs at the time. Now again, this continued to hype up for some time. Because it wasn't an EV SPAC, or at least this is my opinion, because it wasn't an EV SPAC, this one didn't really get as much attention as some of the others, which isn't a bad thing, but there we go. So we saw highs in the $15 range, perhaps even a bit higher than that, touching the high 16s at some point. But obviously we basically maxed out at $16 and have been down ever since. Now, there have been a lot of complications regarding the merger. Again, things still are going ahead, so things are looking good. I don't think this one is over. I still do believe this company has a lot of potential from the fundamentals. We've spoken about the fundamentals many a time on this channel before. Apxt, AvePoint, is basically a data company. They work on migrating, managing and protecting data. They do this for Microsoft 365, so you can see there. If we have had a look at some of their customers, which we have done before, they have some real good names in there. Again, we can quickly have a look down here at some of their customers. We can see companies in there like Thermo Fisher Scientific, you may have heard of. We've got Airways, we've got this company, we have Oak Ridge, we have Sysmex, we have CMS, Cambridge Consultants and T-Systems. So again, some of these you've probably heard of, some of these you may not have heard of, but there are some real big names in there if you do want to have a look at any of these companies. So it just goes to show these really are trusted by the world's greatest organisations and many more. So you know what, this company is pretty decent. Another thing which we do know from previously looking at the company is the fact that the amount of time that the company has been around is over 20 years. So again, this is coming from Investor Place, and it is the case. The company has been around for 20 years, if not more. That is very impressive. They have multi-decades worth of experience, and they are obviously a multi-decade old tech company out there, which is hard to find these days. So we're going to look more into this article in just a moment, but again, this company is firmly established in their sector. Now, if we do have a quick look, this is further spoken about in their financial earnings. As we can see, the fiscal year for 2020 was great. And this just, cements the fact that this company is really solid, into my mind at least. So if we can have a quick look at some important numbers. Total revenue for 2020 up 31% year over year. It grew to 151.5 million, which is great. Recurring revenue was up to 114.5 million, up 37% year over year. Subscription revenue was up 91 million, that was up 66% year over year. The total ARR was at 180 million, and that was up 29% year over year, which is good as well. The GAAP operating loss, that was 15 million, and that was a margin of 10%. We can see here the non-GAAP operating loss, 18.3 million, and this was 12%. So recorded operating cash flow was 19.1 million. So that is the company's financials for 2020 summed up. So key things to note in this: revenue up massively, up 31%, recurring revenue up by 37%, and this just shows that the company is still growing. We can see up here as well, reading this quick piece of information, the fourth quarter was a strong finish for 2020, which is good. They have a record revenue, which is fantastic. And again, non-GAAP operating profit and cash flow generation was good as well. Our core subscription revenue grew by 66% year over year, reflecting our unique position in the market as a digital leader of collaboration, basically. So that is amazing. Again, we can see things are really picking up for Apxt. I think this company does have a lot of potential to keep this growth going forwards. If we look specifically to their 365 work, 365 in 2020, quarter one, had 200 million monthly active users. A lot of people do use this platform, and of course that does provide Apxt with a lot of potential customers going forwards. So if we do think about this realistically, this company has some real potential. Again, if we do look at the fundamentals, I love them. The company's been around for many years. They're obviously still growing, which is fantastic, and they do have a lot of potential. Now, things really are taking a bit of time with this merger, which is not the worst thing in the world, because obviously this company is still decent. I think things are still going to be good long term. If we do have a quick look down here, we can see that the company is going to take some time with this. It's a big question on most investors' minds right now, and the deal was expected to close sometime in the first quarter. Now, there are still some hope that we could see some sort of announcement in the next few weeks, but obviously I do believe that it should be the case that investors should be patient when investing in Apxt. I definitely do think that is the case. So I'm really happy with where the stock is right now. Yes, it has been falling for the longest time, but let's face it, things really haven't planned out the way that we thought that they were going to do. Again, this isn't really too worrying. The merger is still going ahead, and it may take a bit longer than expected, but I think, you know what, Apxt, it's a decent stock. I think it's a case of not if it's going to explode, but when it's going to explode. Sometimes with these mergers, we actually do see the merger happen, the growth happen pre-merger. Sometimes we see the growth happen after the merger has occurred, once a company is officially named on whatever exchange as the actual company. In this instance, I don't think it matters which way it's going to happen, but ultimately at a price of about $11.10, I think the stock is really a decent steal. Again, long-term hold in my opinion. I think you definitely should be looking to hold this one for the next few months, just because we don't know how long this merger is going to take to go through. But I think obviously the company has a high valuation, it's a decent solid company, and revenue continues to grow. I'm really happy with how aggressive they are in their strategy at the moment, and it really is paying off for them. So I'm really happy with Apxt. The price hasn't been moving in the way that we hoped, but a lot of the market has been down recently, that is true. A lot of the market is starting to pick itself up back right now, but the main catalyst that we have for Apxt hasn't played out yet. I think if we do give it time, if we are patient and wait for things to play out, we'll be in a great position if we were to invest right now. That's just my personal thoughts though, guys, and I'm not guaranteed to be correct, it's just what I do believe. So thank you for joining me for this video. Again, we'll look at Apxt again very soon. Goodbye until then.